And I'm Badge Banter himself. Traffic stop enthusiast and the department's unofficial best driver. Just don't ask my squad car about that. We're here to pull back the curtain on what's really like being in law enforcement, from wild calls to weird suspects and everything in between.
I don't like the. Yeah, I don't think we should ask AI for an intro.
I mean, you told me you wanted me to give you a script,
Okay.
so you either take the
You
AI
really-
script or...
You're starting to piss me off already.
Yeah,
We're about 2 seconds into this.
really don't care, bud. Okay. Anyways.
Welcome to the first episode of the Badge Banner podcast. I'm your host, Ethan. What a great name. And I'm a cop in Kansas that works for a city. And this is my co-host, Mr. Brian.
Hi, guys. I'm Brian. I'm a deputy here in Kansas, K9 handler. So, yeah, let's get started.
So, why don't you just go into you, Brian?
So, like I said, work for sheriff's office. I've been in law enforcement for a total like 5-6 years. It all started when I worked corrections. Spent 3.5 years at a correctional facility. I graduated in criminal justice, criminology, all that stuff. So it's something that I figured I wanted to do eventually. I started with exercise science. Obviously, that's not the route I took. But now we're here. I've been with my department for a little over a year and a half. And, got promoted, got K9, and we're rocking now. So what about you?
Rocking. Yeah, so short and simple. I'm a college dropout. Went into corrections. Did 6 years at a state prison. Worked for a little bit of part time at a jail while I was there. And then Brian ended up convincing me to finally go patrol, which is what I always wanted to do.
Bro, we had my vape sitting in the middle of the table the whole time.
It's YouTube. That's different from TikTok.
Okay.
So we can vape on here.
Oh.
I mean, because we're not going to get monetized yet anyway.
But this is going to go on TikTok too, right?
Some clips. But it'll be so close up because this is recorded in YouTube fashion.
So let me switch this thing around. Let's get really in here,
Anyways. So yeah, that's about it. Started at TikTok Badge Banner in June this year, 2024. Gotten to coming up on 60K, which is pretty cool. But
yeah, dude, especially with someone that never had any friends, having that many followers now, you probably feel pretty special.
That's pretty crazy. Speaking of this, you're here with me. But we have a kind of a dark cloud hanging over my head coming up here in January with the potential of TikTok getting banned.
Potential.
It's a pretty big potential.
It's
actually just seen today that the appeal got denied. So, what does that mean? I don't even know. Supreme Court has to hear TikTok's case to, I don't know, see if they want to ban it or not. But I guess we'll see.
Anyways, on to more important things.
Hey, that is important. Because
I get it. You got your 60,000 followers.
Well, not even on our things, our side of things. We are trying to start a clothing business. Kind of planned on funneling a lot of TikTok viewership not only to that, but to here as well. So it's almost like starting over on YouTube. This might just be what we do.
Stop hitting that against the table.
Oh, is that loud?
Yeah.
This might just be what we do. Podcast. We'll see how everything turns out. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with whatever you're talking about.
How you feel about the clothing brand?
It's coming along good. We've been putting in a lot of work. You guys, if you're in the Discord, you've seen some of the designs. There's gonna be a lot more dropping once we get up and running. We've made it. We're making big strides. We've got the website set up. We've like I said, we got the logos and everything, shirt designs made up. We got a manufacturer who we're gonna get everything through, and
Everything's
really,
looking good.
yeah, only thing we've
And
got
we
to
went to
do
the
is
manufacturer actually the other day. It was pretty
it's
cool.
just time to pull the trigger and then get these shirts made,
In the
and
U.S.
then get some orders from you beautiful folks out there.
Yep. Yep. I was nervous. I was actually talking to my wife about it, Jordan, today. I was like, man, should we wait to see what happens in January because of TikTok? Or should we just like expedite it, try to get it out as quick as possible, do as much promotion as we can for
Right.
that date? That was going to be a big, that was going to be our biggest promotion without spending money.
So we need to hurry up and get it done before January 19th.
What it sounds like. Or everybody in the United States can just download a
Maybe they'll ban
VPN.
it. Maybe they'll ban it. And like, from what I saw, is they're going to try to slowly do it. Like January 19th, they're going to start like where you can't download the app anymore.
Yeah.
But if you've already got it, it doesn't
You
just
can
go
keep
away.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
But
you're not
maybe,
going to get updates and stuff.
I mean, maybe the next day Trump takes office and then boom, TikTok's back.
Maybe Daddy Trump. I just don't understand
Mr.
it.
Trump, if you're watching this, please save Badge Banners TikTok.
Please, please. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's so much money with TikTok and all that type of stuff. So
Dude,
many small businesses have been made.
did you see how much it cost to buy TikTok out?
Yeah, it was like 300 billion or something. That's the number I saw.
The number I saw was 100 billion. Either way,
Yeah, it's crazy. And I think I saw somewhere it was like 22 or 24 billion dollars was contributed to the U.S. economy from TikTok, and
it's a
that's
lot of
taxes
money.
that goes to the U.S. government. So, and let's be honest, people. At the end of the day, it's all about money, and if it makes money, it makes sense. I don't know why. I just don't know how something this big and this wide, money wise, they can just make it disappear like that. It doesn't make any sense to me. But whatever. That's why we're here. We'll try to kind of venture out onto other things and see what we can get going.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get into some more police stuff. I mean, obviously, that's why most people are here.
Probably watching us
Um,
soon.
so I was thinking maybe some funny calls or calls that we can't forget. We're not going to start it off too, deep,
Too
but
deep. Yeah, let's start the first
we can,
episode off nice.
yeah, we can start it
We'll
happy,
have some episodes
funny
where
mood.
things get crazy, I'm sure, but like I don't know. When do you think it's okay to talk about stuff like to other people?
I mean, it's got to be talked about eventually. So, I mean, and most of the people watching this are familiar with what we deal with, so it's not, it's
See, I always worry about because obviously there's got to be like some buffer time, like when we're talking about more serious stuff that happens, whether it
so like
be a
we shouldn't be
death or
like, oh man, can you believe this
yeah,
happened? I'm like, yeah, he died.
yeah. Well, especially with us because we work in such a smaller area. You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So there's chances of people knowing us and knowing that we were specifically involved in a call with their family member or something like that.
Yeah,
That's what I've worried about. But
I
I don't
mean,
know.
obviously, just respect. We'll start light.
Yeah, let's start light.
What's the funniest call you've been on? I know what mine is, and it's not even when I was working for county. So,
Yeah, we both had a pretty funny one. It was funny after the fact.
for me, it was funny
Yeah,
during
I'm
the
sure for
fact.
you it was
I was
funny
watching it
during.
all third person perspective.
I'll go with my funniest call I've had by myself, which I think being a cop, I think law enforcement, first responders have dark humor in general, but so I'm not saying mental health is funny by no means, but I had to deal with an individual that was going through a mental health crisis at the time. So it wasn't necessarily funny, but some of the things, you look on afterward and you're just all like
What the
what the
hell?
hell? Yeah, like,
Exactly.
and now this guy, I believe he has schizophrenia, and I don't know for certain, but I think he was using again and off his meds. He had told me he was off his med, and he had started something up at the gas station long story short, started something up at a gas station. I got called out there. I got there. He was cool.
Mm.
I brought, I figured from his mom that was with him that he was having a mental issue. So I brought him back to the office to get him on the phone with mental health. I let him borrow my phone, and like as he's talking, he just starts getting more and more agitated because when you call those hotlines, like
I
there's
mean,
really no point in mine because they're just so like, especially when you got something when you're dealing like with that extreme.
some of those
Those
hotlines make
hotlines
you
don't
want to
help.
just go
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
move
And
forward.
towards the end, he started getting more agitated. He like reared back to throw my phone. So I'm like, you better not throw my phone. And he ended up giving it back to me, but he like stormed out. Things got worse. His mom ended up calling me back to his house. At the time, like, I had no reason to think he's going to cause harm to himself or something like that. So I can't keep him from leaving. Like, I wasn't detaining him or nothing. I was just trying to get him some help. Didn't do really nothing wrong at the gas station. Get to his house, and he's just like on 100. Don't come up to my door. My dog bites. I'm like, I just want to talk to your mom about this and that. Dude goes into, if anybody's ever seen the movie with Jim Carrey, where, oh shoot, what's that movie called? Basically, he thinks he's real. The world he's living in is real, but everybody's actors and stuff like that, and he doesn't realize it till the end of the movie. Truman Show. That's what it is. It was like that. That's kind of like the world he was in. And when I started talking with him, I had said something that made him mad, and he like takes his sunglasses off, cussed at me, threw his sunglasses, takes his shirt off, and just like goes from his yard to the middle of the street. And he just starts talking about how he's like King Kong. And this is like where it took a turning point because I'm just like, what? You know? He's like, I'm King Kong, the biggest and baddest monkey there is. Like, these are actual words he's saying. And he kept asking me my monkey name. And I just like didn't know what to say to that.
What would your monkey name be?
I think Gurnzilla was a good one. I probably should think of
Gurnrilla.
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 Gurnrilla. Officer Gurnrilla. But yeah, I was just thought like, yeah, I'm Officer Gurney. Like, you know me. We were just talking. He's like, no, you tell me your monkey name. Just like cussing everybody out. Like, I'm not blah, blah, blah. I'm the biggest, baddest monkey. Everybody in this town is scared of me. And then so I called for a deputy because I figured it was going to get physical. And in my town, you know, but in my town, I'm the only officer on shift. So I don't have backup. So the only backups are the deputies. And if things start to escalate, usually we try to handle things by ourselves. But I was like, this seems like a situation where probably going to have to go hands on. Because just like, mind you, the whole time he's doing this, like in the middle of the road with a shirt
Right.
off. I called for a deputy, and then 14 gets there. And we're both just sitting on the back, like leaning up against the back of my truck. And he's just going off, but we're like just letting him go off. And we're just like staring at each other, like trying not to laugh at some of this stuff he's saying.
Right, you talk to him. No, you talk to
Yeah, yeah,
him.
we're just all like, but yeah. Long story short, he was going through something. He was saying some crazy stuff. I'll never forget it. When I told him, hey, at the end, I was like, hey, why don't you just calm down, go back inside? And he just did just that. He gave like a little outro speech. He's all like, fuck you, fuck my mom, fuck my dad. And then he's like, I'm going inside. And he just walked inside like nothing happened. And we're just all like,
All right.
all right,
10-8.
back to it. But we got him the help he needed, and everything turned out fine. But yeah, it is what it is. That's a more respectful way I can kind of put that one in.
Hmm.
But you go ahead.
I think by far the funniest story was when I worked for your department, and I started a little before he did, and so you were kind of, I guess, FTLing in a way, whatever you want to call it.
I think at that point, I wasn't even really
You just,
employed.
yeah, you were.
I might have
Well,
been. I don't
you
remember.
were because you still had your gun on you.
Yeah.
You had to be, yeah. So I get a call. Um, this lady thinks she's being held captive. Said she can't move. And she can't see out the windows, whatever. So first thing that goes through my head with how it was dispatched, how she called it in, is she's tied down somewhere and we need to go rescue her.
Yeah.
So me and Gern, we run over there. Um, can't find the house. Finally, she describes the front porch. We find her. I call her, and I'm starting to flash my lights through the windows because she said she can see the light. And so she finally says, "Yeah, we're at the right house." And the door's unlocked. Well,
No, okay, hold on. You gotta get the backstory of why I was scared in the first place.
I forgot about that. Oh my
The
God.
neighbors.
So we know the lady's name, right? And we'll just keep that between us.
Yeah.
But so I'm walking around and I'm like, hey, looking for this house, and some neighbors see us out walking around, and so they come up. They're like, is everything all right? I'm like, no, we're looking for so and so. Have you seen her? And they like
Yeah.
stopped and looked at us. They're like, no.
Like she died.
Yeah, she's
or
like,
something like that.
like we get her like getting her mail and stuff, but she died like 3 years ago.
I'm pretty sure they said something like, we've been trying to get in contact with her too.
Yeah,
or something like
and
that.
they're like, but she died. Like she used to live here and she's dead. And so we're like, okay, this is weird. So we finally get a hold of this lady. Now we have no clue who we're actually talking to on the phone.
Yeah, we're thinking. I'm thinking, like, I get freaked out about paranormal shit, so I'm thinking it's a ghost, like, automatically.
So, anyways, we go to the back door. It's locked. I'm getting ready to kick it in because I think this lady's literally being held captive. I call the sergeant, and he's like, you got to do what you got to do. And I turn around, dude slides a debit card through the door and unlocks it. Whatever.
Yeah. I ruined the phone.
As soon as the door opens up, I see 10 black cats come sprinting out of the house. Gurney jumps back.
Yeah, I was in front of you, and we see these.
So
like,
I make an announcement. I'm like, police department, I'm coming in. And then behind me, I hear, hello? And there's Gern just standing there, like looking for more cats. And so I announce it again. And then we walk through. There's like curtains blocking every room to this house, too. It's the craziest thing. It's super dark. And so I say it again. I'm like, hello, is anyone in here? And then we hear this creepiest voice coming from one of the back bedrooms. We couldn't
hold on. You can go back. We missed a key detail, okay? First off, I think I was in front of you because I opened the door. The cats ran out.
You opened
I
the
looked
door,
back at you.
and then I went in first.
No, I went in because remember when I think we hit the first sheet. I open it, I look back at you, and I go to grab my gun because it was like in my mind I'm like, this is set.
I thought no, you didn't grab for it until you heard the voice.
No, I did it before we went to the kitchen. Because when we went to the kitchen, I went to the pantry or something like that.
And then that's when I got in front of you, and I'm like, hello, is anyone in here?
Which I knew it was a pantry, but I'm like, yeah, I'm going to check this out.
Like, we can see that there's just food there, and there's nothing else behind.
Yo, I'm going to flank the left. You go ahead and get
So how it's set up is walk through the kitchen. The door, it's an open entryway into the living room, and then there's like a little hallway that goes off to the left. Well, we hadn't make it into the living room yet. I say hello again. In the creepiest voice, you just hear, hello?
Yeah.
And so I turn, and is this, you'd already grabbed for your gun? I look back at Gurney, and he gives me the scaredest face.
I'm like,
he's like, just started shaking his head. He's like, nah, bro. Like,
because you know what I'm thinking in my head? If anybody's ever seen the new It movie, I swear to God, this is what I've been thinking about ever since, is like the old grandma in the apartment, and she's like the clown, the It clown, and is like a grandma, and she starts doing weird shit, and that's what I'm thinking about. And I hear that hello, and I'm just like looking at Brian like, yeah, we should go. Like, why are we even here? This is a setup.
I'm not thinking anything paranormal, and I can just tell Gurney,
which is weird because I don't even
out this whole time.
Like, I don't believe in ghosts or like paranormal shit until like I'm there in the moment.
Situation. Anyways, I turned the corner, and it was this lady in pitch black sitting on the toilet, right? And so I'm like, are you so-and-so? And she's like, oh, she's in the room. So I like walk by, shut the door. I'm like, okay, this is like getting real weird now.
Yeah, because all the lights are off, and we just turn the corner, doors wide open.
She says, did my mom call you?
Yeah, she's taking a shit on the toilet with the door open, all the lights off. And we just hear her like, did my mom call you? like from the bathroom. We're like, where is she? And then Brian's all like, or she goes, she's in that back room. Brian's like, well, I'm just gonna shut this, like just like that. He's just all like, okay, I'm just gonna shut this real
So
quick.
we walk into the back room, and then there's this lady on bed rest. She was not being held captive. Turns out
She had dementia.
she had dementia, didn't like being alone and no one talking to her, so she called
Yeah,
us.
she thought her family had left her or something like that.
And I mean, that probably still isn't even the funniest part. I mean, through
Yeah,
this all, she ends up having some medical problems or whatever. And I'm like, man, what's going on? And she looks at me. She's like, I need help with my bedpan. I'm like, or I need to change my bedpan. I'm trying to be a nice guy, offering some help. I'm like, do you need help with that? And I look over at Gurney, and he's like trying
yeah.
so hard not to make it obvious, but he's like, no, bro.
Like I'm shaking
He's
my head,
shaking his
like,
head.
and this dude like he was dead set
And I'm
on
like, no,
making
like,
sure
I'm
we
like,
help
we can
this
help.
lady.
We can help this lady. Like, that's
I'm
what
like,
we're here for. We're the police.
and
Like,
then, thank God the daughter came in. It's all like, no, we do, we're fine. You guys are fine. I was like, do you need an ambulance or something? And I'm like, over here trying to tell Brian, like,
as soon as we clear, he's like, bro, do you know
yeah.
what a bedpan is?
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, do you not know what a bedpan is?
I'm like, no, bro. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I thought we just need to like fix her bed or something. And he's like, nah, bro. Pulls up a YouTube video, and I'm like, oh gosh, I'm so
Yeah,
glad we didn't change that bedpan.
that would not have been fun. But yeah, that situation, like I said, I don't believe paranormal stuff at all
And it's
until
just
like it happens, and then
that
everything
went
gets in
with
your
it.
mind. Yeah, it's just like once you get there, and then
She's been dead for 3 years. We walk through, black cats come out, pitch black house. As soon as we speak, we hear, hello?
yeah, and yeah, that was pretty. Like I was just like this was probably like one of my first calls to a house,
100%. Because you were
and
riding with me
yeah,
still.
and so I was always skeptical about joining police and stuff like that. I was like, oh, I'll stay in corrections because
We
I don't
don't deal
like
with ghosts in
I don't like
correction.
yeah. I don't like other people having weapons and stuff like that. And when it's got in that situation, there's curtains blocking every entryway to another room. So you have no idea what's on the other side. And the potential, so I'm thinking like ambush,
Yeah.
ghost, like everything you could think of. Because like nothing was making sense. That's the whole thing. Like nothing
Even
made
now,
sense.
none of it makes
Yeah,
any
no,
sense of how it all went
because
down.
what the fuck were the neighbors talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Like, have they really not seen her?
like, what were they talking about? Because they
I mean,
told
they were
us it was pretty.
obviously high. We
Yeah,
smelled it
they
when we were
smelled.
back there. But,
It's
oh
all like
gosh.
because I'm pretty sure they said, yeah, the house that she lived in is burnt down.
Yeah,
It's not
they're like,
there. They
it got
tore it
tore down.
down. You're standing on the lot where she died right now. I was all like, no, she's right there in that room that we're standing right next to. But yeah, that was the black cats, like literally like 10 black cats. As soon as we opened that door, it just
We were walking into a witch's house.
yeah, that's what I got. Like, and then we turn the corner and this lady's just taking shit in the dark. Like, what is going on? You know what I'm saying?
There was so much. I was kind of mean during that call, though.
He was all like,
I was upset. I mean,
were
we were about
upset.
to
You were
boot.
upset because we were about
We were about to kick down someone's door, go in there
yeah,
in the
break
middle
the
of the
door.
night. I mean, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
Like, you don't want to just break into someone's house that at 3 o'clock in the morning. Obviously
because
not
if the
knowing what's
homeowners,
going on.
the people who actually live there, don't know what's going on, they
Right.
can have a weapon
Thinking a
or something
lady's
like
being
that.
held captive, obviously we're gonna be on alert. That's how things go south. And so she's like, I just needed someone to talk to. I'm like, look, lady, we are not the people.
Yeah.
You don't call us if you're bored. Like, take your ass to sleep.
Yeah, go to bed, lady. Which I understand she has problems and stuff like that, but at the same time, which we created, we had to go deal with her again. I had to go deal with her again. By the time you already left, but we've made it a choice. Like finally, we got the daughter on the list to like she's the one you call. If we get a phone call from that number, you call the
her.
daughter and
Hey.
yeah. So what's going on? Because
Yeah.
for they weren't very good at like keeping her in check. Like she just call everybody.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised.
I mean,
like if we had Domino's or Pizza Hut delivery, like they'd have all types of shit at their fucking house.
And we want to reiterate, we're not trying to make fun of any of these people. Obviously, the funny stories are gonna come from the mental health um, calls for the
Yeah,
most part. It's not making fun of them. It's just from it's just us sharing our perspective on things because
because it's odd. Like nobody
it's
goes through that.
we don't we obviously don't think the same way as them. So when we're put in that position of what's going on in their mind,
Yeah.
it just mind boggles us.
Like it's not funny at the time. Like I was to a point where like I was ready to pull my gun out. So like obviously at the
Right.
moment, like it can be stressful as hell. And then when you look at it afterwards or a couple days later, you're like, when we're telling the
Yeah.
story now, we're like, what the hell is going on? Like it's just comical in the way things like work out sometimes. And that's like the way with that mental dude that not mental dude, but dude who had mental health issues that I was dealing with. My story at the time, like some things he was saying was just so off the wall. It was like kind of hard not to laugh
Are
at.
you being for real, bro?
Yeah, yeah. It was all like yeah. Sometimes it was like, are you actually being for real right now? But at the same time, this guy's coming up close to me. He's yelling. Like I have to keep the situation calm. Like things could go sideways very quick. So at the time, it might not be as funny as we think. It's going to be, but it definitely
Yeah.
can be. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And same thing goes with the opposite. Things are really, really serious, and your training kicks in. You don't really notice it until like afterwards or something like that. And you're like, shit, like that was crazy.
Like, whoa, bro. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
Or like when you're on a traffic stop and a dude has an AR sitting on his center console, and you're like, "Oh, hey, guy,"
yeah. Well, things
and they
happen.
pointed at you.
Well, in my case, it wasn't an AR. It was like it was like
It
one
was
of
a
those,
conversion kit.
yeah, conversion
It was like
kits.
pistol conversion kit.
Yeah, but things happen, and we learn from it because of
True.
that.
Yeah.
And now I know.
Now I know not to get a gun pointed, and now I know
It's
not
more,
every captive call is a person being held captive.
yeah. And yeah, you just gotta. That's a great thing about this job. Even when I was in corrections for 6 years, learn every single day. Like no matter, you could be a 30-year veteran in law enforcement, and you're going to learn something new just because the times change.
Everything, every call's different. I
Every
mean,
call, every call is literally different. No matter how mundane it may seem, every traffic stop's different. I mean, there's case law
yeah.
constantly updating, and yeah, I don't know. And speaking of older cops, you know, what do you think about older cops compared to younger cops?
I don't know. It seems like a lot of people, like a lot of the older generation, seems to hate us for some reason.
Yeah,
Whether it's the way we talk or the way we dress or this or
interact
this,
or handle
or
things.
we're telling a lot of times, the problem is we're saying, hey, at the academy, this is what we were taught. Like, nah, that's not how I was raised doing it.
Yeah,
And like these guys are spitting out case law and stuff that they did in the 1970s. Like, hey, man, like cops didn't like black people in the 1970s. Like, well, things are different now. Like,
yeah,
come on.
things change. That's why I really hope as I progressed in my career, I'm able to kind of keep up with the
Yeah.
times because
No,
I know,
young cops. I mean, we have such a better perspective on things because
I really do. I will 100% stand by. I think younger cops, like within 2 years, 10 years, 2 to 10 years,
mhm.
I think they are probably overall, I don't want to say better at the job, but
We just communicate better because the people we're dealing with are the people that are closer to our age.
yeah,
A lot of these older people they're dealing with their grandkids. You know what I mean? And
they
so
think, yeah, they
if
think a
if if
lot.
they will come up and like, "What up, bro?" Like, bet this guy's like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, yeah.
While we, like, "Hey, slay," you know what I mean?
And
Like,
I've noticed like a lot of
we know
times
the lingo and stuff.
when
Like,
you see like these negative things come out on social media or whatever mainstream media, like a lot of times the cop is older.
is
Yeah,
old, yeah.
yeah.
Because
And
back in his day, that's how they did
that's how they
things.
did it. And
And
it's just
we're
not like that now. And I'm not saying like it was good back then, and well, it's just not. You gotta do it because you can't do it no more. But that's how it should be. Um, I think policing nowadays is getting better more than what it's,
Right. I mean, a lot of people complain with, all the video recording and stuff, but reality is like we should do our job right. We should, it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
we shouldn't, it doesn't matter if there's a camera on us or not. This is how we should be doing it.
And when we went to academy, like these things that the public's bringing up that people are worried about, like a lot of that stuff, like they're teaching in academies. We went through that stuff and they taught it in academies. Derek Chauvin, like all that stuff,
Yeah.
they teach.
Oh my gosh. And they were all they were all on his side. I didn't meet a single instructor that did not agree with, or did not disagree
with
the officer's actions. Yeah. None of them. I mean, they hated him. They all talked about how bad it was.
Yeah, because it makes everybody else look bad.
Right.
Everybody, it started that big uprise and all that.
Yeah, and then the media and stuff, they're like, oh, all cops are on this guy's side, blah blah blah. But like, in reality of it, I mean, they specifically taught us, don't be an idiot and do this.
Be like, and they it's not even just that one. They go through like all the big stories that have been covered in the past, police brutality, stuff like that. Like they covered every single one of those stories and why what they did is 100% not right. And so everything, it's not like we just turn a blind eye to it or cops turn a blind eye, like whatever. Like no, that stuff actually being taught. Auditors, First Amendment auditors, like that stuff's getting better now. To where back in the day people thought it was a joke. And
I mean, even when you see the videos, these young guys, they're like, you know what, you did good, thank you.
Yeah.
Versus these guys that are 60 years old still, and it's not everyone that's old. I'll say that.
Yeah, it's definitely not everyone that's old.
It's really the ones that learned it young and then never kept themselves up to date.
I would say it's probably the older guys who were on patrol for a little bit and then now they're sergeants or lieutenants or chiefs, detectives or whatever,
on the road
and they haven't been working the road. They just they handle the bigger stuff or whatever it may be. So when they do have these interactions, they're just not used to them anymore, like we are. And, anyways, but yeah, I think that's our opinion, which I'm sure we'll get grilled for that.
That's fine.
But
they don't like it.
I think a lot of people also agree with that as well, right. Secretly, deep down. And I'm not saying we love our older gentlemen,
Yeah.
I've got one I work with, he's great.
One glove Mike.
One glove Mike.
Anyways, I mean, we are coming up on our time, so let's try to wrap it up. And,
Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know how long we've been on here for, but this is a good little first episode.
Yeah.
I think. And we'll get better.
Yeah.
We'll get better for sure. Our setup, quality of stuff, things we talked about, everything get better. So this is more of like a trial. See kind of what we can improve on, all that type of stuff. I literally just got off work. So that's why I'm still in, semi police gear, semi time. So we'll get everything on a better schedule. We'll get everything better. We'll work on improving the podcast, but
maybe next time we'll have some scripts or not scripts, but like some points that we're going to touch on lined out, so it kind of goes a little smoother. Yeah. But I mean, I think overall it was
more of a freestyle.
It was solid,
But well, I appreciate you guys. To whomever has watched this, I'm sure it's not going to be very many, but I appreciate anybody who came, watched the podcast, watched it, and enjoyed it. Hopefully, make sure you subscribe to the Badge Banter YouTube. Go follow me on TikTok if it's still around.
Like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe.
Share it to your friends.
I would say that. Go show all your police buddies and whatnot, and yeah, I think we'll see you guys later. That was good.
Now we cue the.
All right.
Now we cue the. Call!